What if you hibernate for 100 years? Imagine closing your eyes today, falling into a deep hibernation, and waking up not tomorrow, not next year, but 100 years from now. When you close your eyes, the world is familiar. Smartphones, social media, cars on the road, bustling cities, and the daily rhythm of life as we know it. But when you finally open them a century later, the world that greets you will no longer be recognizable. The Earth, humanity, and even the concept of daily life will have been reshaped in ways you can hardly imagine. 100 years may feel like an eternity, but in the grand scale of history, it is a blink of an eye. And yet, within that blink, humanity has the potential to advance more than it has in the last 1,000 years combined. Right now, we live in an era of rapid technological growth. Artificial intelligence is already reshaping industries, robotics are entering daily life, and space exploration is reaching beyond the moon. If progress continues at this pace, the next century could bring about transformations so radical that today's world might look primitive in comparison. Let's start with technology. If you wake up after a century of hibernation, one of the first shocks would be how humans interact with machines. Artificial intelligence, which today is still developing, might already surpass human intelligence in almost every aspect. You could walk into a city where AI governs infrastructure, directs traffic, and even manages political systems. Machines may not just assist humans, they could be coexisting as independent entities, perhaps even with legal rights of their own. For someone who left the world in the early 21st century, this would feel like stepping into a science fiction novel come to life. Transportation would be another striking difference. Cars with wheels may no longer exist, replaced by hovering vehicles, self-navigating pods, or even teleportation technology, if humanity achieves such breakthroughs. Roads might be obsolete, replaced by floating highways in the sky, or magnetic rail systems that connect continents in minutes. Traveling across the globe could take less time than it takes us today to commute across a city. Then, imagine communication. Right now, we rely on smartphones, screens, and voice. In 100 years, communication may happen directly through neural interfaces, allowing people to share thoughts, emotions, and memories instantly, without words. Social media as we know it might vanish, replaced by shared consciousness platforms where experiences are uploaded and felt collectively. For you, this would be disorienting. The act of simply speaking might feel outdated, slow, and inefficient compared to the speed of direct thought-of-thought exchange. But technology is only one piece of the puzzle. The cultural and social differences would be just as overwhelming. Languages may evolve or even disappear entirely. It's possible that humanity, connected through global networks, may adopt a universal language, whether spoken or digital. Traditions and customs of your time might be gone, seen as old relics of a bygone era. Just as we today find it hard to relate to the lifestyle of the 1800s, people in the future might look at your clothing, your entertainment, or your habits as strange and primitive. Music, art, and creativity would also undergo a revolution. Today, humans still dominate these fields, but in a century, artificial intelligence and bioengineered creativity might take over. Art could be immersive experiences that engage all five senses or even the mind directly. Music may not be just sound, but an emotional journey implanted into your brain. Imagine waking up and finding that people no longer listen to music, but feel it in ways you can even describe. The environment, however, might hold the biggest shock of all. Will Earth be thriving, or will it be in crisis? Climate change is one of the biggest challenges of our time, and the way humanity responds will shape the future. Successful, perhaps forests will be restored, oceans cleansed, and species brought back from extinction through genetic engineering. On the other hand, if we fail, vast regions of the planet may be underwater. Deserts may spread across continents, and extreme weather could dominate everyday life. Cities you once knew could be gone, drowned beneath rising seas, replaced by floating megacities on the ocean, or domes protecting humans from harsh environments. The human body itself could also be very different. With advancements in biotechnology, genetic modification, and cybernetic implants, people may no longer look the same as you. They might be taller, stronger, more resistant to disease, and capable of living far longer, maybe even hundreds of years. Some might be part human, part machine, blurring the line between biology and technology. To them, you would appear fragile, limited, and outdated. a reminder of a less advanced humanity. And what about space? By the time you awaken, humanity may no longer be confined to Earth. Colonies on the Moon, Mars, or even farther planets might already exist. Generations could have been born and raised off Earth, making spacefaring humans a reality. You might meet someone who has never stepped foot on Earth and considers it a distant, it's an ancestral homeland rather than the center of civilization. Economics and politics would also evolve. Nation-states as we know them might collapse, merging into planetary governments or digital societies that transcend geography. Money could be obsolete, replaced by energy credits, reputation systems, or advanced blockchain economies. Power might not lie in governments, but in networks of artificial intelligence, or in corporations that function more like ruling entities. For you, however, the greatest shock may not be the technology, the environment, or even the humans themselves. It will be the sense of time lost. For you, 100 years felt like the blink of an eye. But for the world, it was a century filled with wars, revolutions, inventions, disasters, and rebirth. Entire generations will have lived, struggled, and died without you ever being part of their story. You would be a stranger, an outsider, not quite belonging to the past or the present. The people you once knew, your family, your friends, everyone you cared about, gone. Even your culture, your references, your jokes, and your memories would no longer make sense to the people around you. You would be like a ghost from the past, trying to fit into a world that has long since moved on. So, could you adapt? Would you embrace the marvels of the future, learning to live among people who are genetically and technologically different from you? Or would you feel alienated, lost in a civilization that no longer speaks your language, literally and figuratively? Hibernating for 100 years is not just about sleeping and waking up. It is about losing your place in history, about skipping over the flow of time that connects one generation to the next. The difference between now and then would not be small changes. It would be a total transformation of what it means to live as a human being. And in that moment, as you open your eyes to a dazzling but alien future, you might realize the true cost of hibernation. It is not just the loss of years, it's the loss of belonging, the loss of continuity, and the challenge of finding yourself in a world that has become something entirely new. But let's also think about medicine. In 100 years, disease as we know it today may no longer exist. Cancers, genetic disorders, and viruses could be completely eradicated. Not through treatment, but through prevention at the DNA level. Nanobots might live inside the human body, repairing cells, boosting the immune system, and extending lifespan far beyond what we currently imagine. For you, waking up without these enhancements, the world might see you as fragile, almost medically primitive compared to their standard of health. Another striking change would be education. The way humans learn today through schools, lectures, and books might seem incredibly slow to future generations. In the future, knowledge could be directly uploaded into the brain, eliminating years of study. People might learn new skills in minutes, downloading entire professions instantly. Imagine waking up to a world where everyone can become a doctor, an engineer, or a scientist overnight, while you are still bound to the slow process of traditional learning. Entertainment, too, would be unrecognizable. Today, we immerse ourselves in movies, video games, and virtual reality. But in a century, entertainment could mean living fully simulated lives, indistinguishable from reality. People might spend decades inside virtual worlds, exploring experiences far beyond physical limits. For you, the idea of sitting down to watch a simple film or play a game on a console would feel almost laughably outdated compared to what the future offers. Relationships and human connections would evolve as well. Love, family, and friendship could be redefined in ways we cannot yet grasp. With artificial intelligence companions, genetic customization of partners, or even relationships that exist entirely in virtual environments, the meaning of intimacy might shift dramatically to someone waking up after 100 years. Traditional romance and family values could feel like ancient traditions, respected but no longer practiced. Finally, spirituality and the search for meaning may take entirely new forms. With humans merging with machines, extending life indefinitely, and colonizing space, the fundamental questions of existence will transform. What does it mean to be human when biology is no longer the limit? What does mortality mean when people can live for centuries or even upload their consciousness into digital eternity? For you, waking up from a long sleep, this might be the most profound difference of all, the realization that humanity is no longer bound by the same questions that once shaped your worldview.